Hello, and welcome to the Wednesday night episode of the Blitz Pickup. And listen, today we had a conversation about, what's a dog? So, I decided, to bring out one of my favorite cinema dogs of all time. Shout out to Tony Montana. Shout out to the first original Cuban Missile. If you know, you know. Listen, I'm really excited about today because all three of us are here. Like, this is really exciting for me. But if you were not in the space today, you missed a great one. But believe me, this is where you want to be right now because we are about to get into all these conversations. We are talking about minicamp, day 1, day 2. We are going to get into the rookie signings and what that means and why maybe 2, 3 are still not signed. We'll get into it. You know how it goes here. Listen, if you want to know what a dog is, look no further than Lewis, because that man has fought back so quickly to be back here, and I'm so excited for my brother to be back. So Lou, I don't care about Tony coming up. Tony don't gotta come up. Lou, you come on up and you take the stage. Lou, what's up?
Hey, Finn Sanity, what's good?
I miss you, bro. How are you? Oh my gosh.
Hey, listen. Well, you know what? I was gonna say, Sanity, you've been great in my absence.
I tried.
You've been, you've been carrying a lot of the show, Sanity. And you've been great. I've given Tony's flowers already, but I haven't said it to you personally yet.
Thank you.
From me to you, the time I was away, you've been absolutely great, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do that. Tony, how are you? Since you decided not to let Lou have his moment in the sun.
I didn't say a word. What the fuck?
I'm just saying, Lou can come up. I didn't say Tony can come up. We just,
let's do this over.
Because you was carrying the show. We didn't got through it.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Hey, you know what? Since we started here, I want to know what a dog is. Lou didn't jump in. You know what? For instance, I was paying attention. He be taking a little shots, but I be hearing it. He was like, "Oh no, he just want to argue with me." You know what I'm saying? When he come up there, y'all, I'm looking for all the smoke. I'm gonna back down a little bit. So we could carry the smoke over here. But he didn't say nothing about that topic. So I want to know what Lou think is a dog. That's what I want to know. Because I noticed you ain't say nothing. You ain't pick a side. You didn't offer up no opinions. Lou, what do you think a dog is? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the reason, Tone, I'll give you my definition of what a dog is and stuff. But I didn't say nothing earlier. My hands started hurting from all them laughing emoji. I don't know if you see that. Boy, that was some funny stuff, but y'all should have been there. For the people that was there, you're welcome, by the way. But no, listen, I think I understood what another person, again, I don't want to mention no names or whatever, but I understand what another person was saying in the space. But I kind of lean towards what you and Bonjo and others were saying, Tone. A dog it's about mindset. It's not about the talent, right? It's not. You don't have to have talent to have that mindset of a dog. I like the guy you brought up in D'Angelo Pons, right? That's one of my guys. And the only reason I'm bringing him up, people always talked about his size, his strength, is he going to be able to match up? None of that mattered when he got on the field. All that noise, right? It didn't matter. It's the mindset he would go at, Tone, Insanity, right? Again, a dog to me is just a person, and I'll use me and you, Tone, as an example. You fight with, I don't want to say fight, you debate with a lot of people, Tone. And sometimes I see them people and they can't handle it, right? They get flustered, right? I don't look at those people as dogs. Me and you, Tone, today, I was in the space, you came up, first thing you said was, nah, blah, blah, blah. You start going at me.
Yeah.
I started going right back at you. It was nothing, right? It was nothing.
Right.
It's cool. I know Tone's a dog, I'm a dog. It is what it is. We're gonna yell, scream, kick with cool. We're gonna kick and push them. To me, that's a dog mentality, right? So I don't think you have to have talent to end up being a dog. That, again, that's just my two thoughts. I hate agreeing with, Finn saying that I hate agreeing with Tone, especially when that button's live now. We're live, right? Yeah. But no, I think Tone was spot on in his assessment of what a dog is. So I'm in line with what Tone was saying earlier.
Okay, damn, yeah. You know what? I'll try. I'll try on another topic. Yeah, yeah. We can't do this agreement. So, Officer, you want to get into the show?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the Miami Dolphins, hey, completed a couple of days of mandatory minicamp. Now, yes, Malik Willis had some struggles, but he has come on and played strong, well, practiced strong in the last two recently. Tone, how do you feel about Malik Willis's performance, and do you have more confidence now in him? I'm just, hey, listen, get you already know how
You know what? I'm gonna tell you
get your ice
this.
ready. But go ahead. I
I
want to know what your
believe.
confidence
I
level.
believe. See now, see you don't start. Lou back now. Don't start. We'll turn this show upside down and forget Lou here. We'll turn
Hey,
the show
hey,
upside down. You know
I
what?
ain't missing a beat. Go
I
ahead.
believe. I believe. We should let Lou start because you said I took away. I didn't let him give him a shine. You don't want to let Lou start off. I just want to offer that. I don't mind going first, but I just wanted to be on the record that I offered to allow Lou. Well, for Lou to go first. Lou, you okay with me going first, Lou? Let me ask you. Matter of fact, is it all right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to be hoodwinked and swindled. But listen, you said, do I have more confidence in him? See, now I remember, here we go. I remember last episode when you was you was talking all that crazy, that madness and all that. I had the same energy. As a matter of fact, my energy was so much the same that I offered and I agreed to
You didn't offer
the
anything.
Ice Bucket
Go
Channel
ahead.
game per game
You didn't
for
offer
every
that.
win. Huh? I said I agreed to. I
Oh, you
agreed to it.
agreed
So
to it.
I didn't back down at all. You listen, I still had as much confidence in Malik Willis last episode as I did from day one. I told you I expected this. I expected him the office, not him, the office to struggle out the gate. Right, but that didn't absolve him for being criticized. I think that's the difference between me and a lot of the other people. I criticized him because as you remember, I went off on people like, hold on, we're not giving him an excuse for the struggles. Now we're gonna acknowledge it, and I'm gonna say that I'm not panicking, willing to jump out the bridge and jump off a cliff because I see the struggles there. But we're also not going to say ignore the fact that he's struggling and not mention the fact that he needs to get better. Right? 7-on-7s. I didn't expect you to struggle like that to that capacity. I didn't expect that. Right? I expect you to be a little bit off, things of that nature, but to come out and every time you go out there, they saying how you off target and you missing. Hold on. Some of these are routine throws because when they line up and do the wide receiver drill, which is essentially what 7-on-7s are, you're not missing passes on that, But this does bring to the forefront, right? How I was talking about, let's say Caleb Douglas, when the difference between catching the football out of a jug machine and actually running routes, right, and actually being covered. See, that goes to that mindset as far as, okay, it's cool for you to stand in that line and just throw one when the receivers are lined up and running that post and the square in and the deep out, the flag route, whatever you want to call, right? But now when they have defenders on them, right, you have to throw it to where it's out of the reach of the defender now. So that target point is different now. And these are the things that I was trying to bring to, to people's attention. Like, okay, cool. I don't care about, them showing up when there's no competition. What about when there's a defender there? How are you going to perform? And he was struggling. I called it out, but I never lost faith though. I never, what I'm saying? Never lost confidence in him. I kept the same energy and now that he had. Now, some people are saying you could do that face all you want, homegirl. Some people had some some people had 2 good practices and other ones said 3. Now, I know our coach, Jeff Hafley, was one of the ones that said Friday, prior to, the Monday minicamp, Tuesday minicamp, he said Friday was his best practice. And then he followed up with Tuesday with, started off first play of the game, interception, cool, right? But then proceeded to have a great camp after that, accurate, on time, hitting receivers, throwing touchdowns. That was cool. And then today, it's nothing but good came out of that. There's no turnovers. It seemed like he picked up where he left off. And this is what I was expected because these are, it's shirts and pants. I expect you to to show up. Now, you want to know what's crazy to me is now Hafley had an interview today, right? First thing, I don't know if you wanted to talk about this, but I'll just add this part in, right? And they asked him, "What are you looking forward to when they get into training camp?" He threw his little joke, "Oh, damn, we're gonna skip mini camp and just go straight to training camp. We got one more of these things here, right?" But what did he say? His biggest concerns or what he's looking for when he get in, he said, "I'm looking for when we get into the pad." Thank you. That's not the beginning. Remember, when they get in mini camp, don't forget, they're not fully pads when training camp comes. They aren't. They got on shorts. They may have the jerseys and helmets, but they're not going to have on a shoulder pads. But once he said, I'm looking forward to when they get in pad. Now let's see how you execute and things of that nature. Along the same lines and the same mindset of us over here. All this shirts and t-shirts, shorts and t-shirts is cool, but the real evaluation start when them pads come on. Now, another thing is, I can't wait until the joint practices, and we'll talk about that a little later, later on in during the month. But yeah, so I'm happy when he said that when they asked him the question, he was like, "Listen, in training camp, when the pads come on, you understand? I see him improving, but it's when the pads come on." Now, last but not least, before I pass it on to my brother, I love the fact that it seems as if, and I see my sister Nene in there. She might hate this, because I'm going to give him some credit, right? Everything that they've been saying, and let's stick to Hafley right now because we gave Sully his pressure, right? Everything that they have been saying, it seems like they're backing it up. What I mean, Jeff Hafley, right? He goes in practice, and he was talking about the intentions and all of these things that was going on, and it seems like he's doing the same thing now. And how the practice have been, how they're holding practices, right? Also, the installs. Y'all remember how he said the installs? He liked to go over them 3 times. So once he get to the field, he wants to see them. They already have the book, right? He took that same approach when it came to on field. What did he say? After they came out of that volunteer mini camp, right? When they started this mini camp, instead of adding on to the installs, what did he say? No, let's go back to phase 1 of the install because it's their second time going through it and it should improve. It's not a coincidence. The offense improved as well. It's the second time going through the installs. And what did he say? I don't want to overload them, right? I just want them to get this down pat before moving forward. I think that trend is starting to help them out and understanding now you know what you're doing. You're not overthinking it. And that's a sign of good coaching right there. So far, so good for me. I got a lot more to say, but I want my brother to jump in there right in there. I'm right there. I'm sorry.
So the question is Malik go? Actually, Vincent, how'd you phase the question? Go ahead and ask the question again.
What are your thoughts about day 1 and day 2 of minicamp? And do you have more confidence in Malik Willis since he performed better? Well, decently.
Yeah. You know what, Vincent? That's the question I thought you asked.
Yes.
Now, Tom said a lot of stuff, and it makes great sense. Now, I got a question. Everybody knows who Ann is, correct? You know who Ann is for the Dolphins?
Yeah.
Does Ann still work for the Dolphins?
I don't know.
Yes.
I think she got fired.
Yeah, no. Ann's still there. She's the head of the PR team, correct?
Yeah, Jeff Hafley just mentioned her name in his conference.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Ann. Ann does great work. I actually approve and appreciate Ann. You know what's crazy to me? Vicinity 6 years have passed that we had, if every corner, if Tua tied his shoes, it was Mike McDaniel sneezing. No matter what it was, we would get video evidence of what they were doing at training camp, Vincent.
Yes.
Now, all these great practices that Malik Willis has had in day 2 and day 3 of minicamp, I don't know about y'all, but I go, I scour the internet from time to time, Twitter specifically, and I'm watching across the league, Vincent, specifically Cleveland. Every throw Shedeur Sanders makes, touchdown, Deshaun Watson, every throw that they posting highlights of it, this, that, and the third. Now, Insanity, I'm going to ask you, How many throws you seen from Malik Willis? Like touchdown winning throws?
Not many.
Have you seen it?
No. Oh, listen. Let me get on my Miami Dolphins PR team. We say not many instead of zero.
All I'm saying is, all we get in all these reports of how great they doing, you don't see anything.
I ain't see nothing.
Now,
I did see. Hold up. I did see like a quick, like out pass or something. Like it was just like quick.
Mm-hmm.
I did see that one, but that was about it.
I seen Malik Willis throwing to a wide receiver. He threw a quick slant against nobody. The receiver was just running the route. There was nobody. Like that's the only highlights you see. So I can't say 100% if these rumors are true, right? I don't know that. But yeah, for the most part, you're hearing good things, and I'm in line with Tone from where it started to where there was reports that, and you even see people in the chat. We're not making this thing up. There's people that are actually saying that, again, people that have been there, that Quinn Ewers is even beating Malik Willis out. All I'm saying is, I don't know. I'm not there. Tone, when Tone goes to now training camps and stuff, he'll be able to tell me and you, Finsanity. But so far, so good, I guess. It's just strange to me that we're hearing how great the offense is doing. You're not getting no clip stuff. So either Hafley and Sully have made a conscious effort to tell the PR team, hey, we're not moving like we used to, or we're not putting any of this stuff out, or tinfoil hat, it's maybe not as good as what people are saying it is, and they're hiding it. It's just hard for me to believe, again, that we don't get no video evidence of all the good stuff we're hearing from Malik Willis. It's just hard for me to believe. But I'm not there, so I can't say 100% it's not happening. Hopefully Malik Willis is getting better and the offense is getting better. Now, I got a question, though, for y'all. Do you think and again, I'm just playing the scenario. If Tone goes to training camp, Tone, and you tell me if Insanity, you come on a day-to-day basis and you're like, man, Quinn Ewers is actually, in your words, and if you're seeing it, Quinn Ewers is being better. Do y'all think that would go with Quinn Ewers?
Well, according to the press conference today, and what he said, I would have to say yes. But if if I'm being logical, I'm gonna say no. I would love it if they did it though. If they made that move and Quinn was better or like outperforming, then I would appreciate if they made that move. But they might want to see him in a real game first before they make that commitment. I don't know.
And if that happened, Tone, and I would love to hear your thoughts. If that happened, Tone, if Malik was getting beat out by Quinn Ewers, but they started Malik, would you look at Hafley sideways?
You have to, yeah. Why wouldn't we? Of course.
No, I'm just asking.
Oh, okay. I can I ask a question now? I just want to rebuttal.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely,
for sure.
Got him. We fucking got him.
That's not even a question.
What you got? Them clips? You got any photos or videos?
Insanity. Now I thought he was gonna save himself when he said maybe Jeff Hafley, right, made it a point to tell them to not release a bunch of things, right? Because that could be. I thought he was gonna stay there so he could save that stuff that he was saying over there. Because he said a lot of stuff, but I don't know where he get it from. But you want to know what I noticed, Insanity? Did we have these clips of him struggling that was coming out of a training camp?
Do we have him throwing them interception?
No, we don't. What clip do you have him throwing an interception?
They said that.
I don't know who threw, but they did show an interception. And
they said that the Juju Brent's interception. They showed that.
Show him throwing.
And then they showed the Greg Docious touchdown, the one-hand touchdowns, right? Didn't they show that?
Oh, that was a bad throw, by the way.
No, it wasn't. The one-handed catch was Greg Docious. So what I'm saying
is,
right?
Had to catch it with one hand, Tone. You think that was a good throw?
I'm just asking a question, right? Just like you asked the question.
Did he throw?
If we're so listen, he don't have no problem. Yeah, well, y'all, you guys, right?
Y'all.
Didn't have any problem. You all didn't have any problem criticizing him and running with the narrative when it was said. Now, without any clips, we didn't have these clips of him struggling. When they were saying how he was struggling, he was off target. Y'all took it and ran with it. It's so much. You and him, so much, right? Till you started. You asked the question. If it's building our confidence now because of how he was struggling, right? Now, there was no caveat in front of that. That was all hearsay. Now, the same thing about him all of a sudden turning around, right? It's the same energy, but y'all didn't have no problem believing and accepting the fact that they were saying he was struggling.
How am I catching strays? I didn't even speak.
My brother, hey, listen, because you asked the question, right? Now my brother was out there.
Playing better though. Was I not?
Hey, listen,
I acknowledge that.
Listen, for Sandy, my brother over there. Guess what he was saying? He was running. Oh, are y'all serious? He can't compete a pass in 7-on-7s and all this, and they got him.
That's what they said. That's what they said.
Right, but they also said, right, to your credit, they also said now he's playing better. He's performing better. He's practicing better. Now all of a sudden you found it so hard to believe that we ain't got no clip. Well, why you ain't find it hard to believe we ain't have clips of the struggles then?
Do you think? Well, it's easier. What I would say though, right? What I would say to that, a good PR team is not going to show the struggles. What I'm saying is, don't you think that a PR team would want to show the success you're having?
So let me ask you a question. I'm so glad you said that. So when the defense get turnovers and making good plays, that's not success? So you trying to say only success is on offense?
That is not what I'm saying. But right there, you said
you just said don't show the struggles. I think a punch out, right? When
who's
they say
who's throwing them interceptions,
do you think them hiding who the quarterback was on that interception is them hiding?
Who? Which one?
Juju's.
The interception, the Juju Brent?
Yeah, when they didn't show who was throwing it.
I knew y'all was going. No, you want to know why?
Why?
Because when he threw the touchdowns, did we see who threw the Greg Dosage? We didn't see who threw that touchdown. They have to tell us. When they showed that one play that Lewis was saying, "Oh, I don't believe it," and they finally came out with the clip of him hitting the tight end Cash Merrick down the sideline, and they was like, "We don't know if it was in and out." They didn't show who threw that football either, right?
I didn't see. But
it came out. Oh, now you ain't see it, right? But it came out to be those were the Malik passes that they was talking about. Actually, that good pass that Caleb Douglas caught, the one that they brought out, right? They didn't show you who was throwing that football, right? So why are we trying to now? Are they hiding his success? I'm just asking the question too. Are they hiding his success? If you're gonna ask me that for the interception, right? We got to ask the same thing. Why they not showing who's throwing the touchdowns or who's throwing these long completions and things of that nature? It's the same energy, but y'all trying. That's crazy. Y'all trying to use this right inside the PR.
Talking about? I'm just asking a question.
I have one. I
have not pushed back on anything you said, but go ahead.
I have another question to ask you guys, right? You know, based on everything that y'all saying. Okay, I'm hearing what y'all talking about, but Lou said the grass ain't greener. There's no changing. Everything is the same, right?
Oh, you said
but
that,
for sanity, I want to ask you this question. I'm not even going to ask Lou. I'm going to ask you this question, right? Because I just want to get. I think you would be honest with me. I believe so. I hope you would, right?
Mm-hmm.
Haven't Lou been complaining lately about all the things that was happening last year aren't happening this year? Haven't he been complaining?
Like what?
The PR teams. Oh, we don't see the videos. What a video. Last year, if two was tying his shoes, right? There was a video out. Now all of a sudden, we're not getting that. It's hotting. But what about it just a change? That's why I said I thought you were going to save it with the regime change. What if it's a change of regime? You want to know what's constant that come out, right? Everyone that goes to practice, from the beat writers to the people on the road, on the radio, to Joe Rose, Beaucamper, right? Jim Beaucamper, I think that's his name, right? All of them come out, and you know what they notice? All of them say the same thing. This seemed like more of an old school approach to the practices. To the fact you don't see extra things coming out in the media. You know, back in the old school, they never wanted to show videos of them practicing, no matter what, 7-on-7s or anything. They never wanted those type of things out there in the public. They didn't want those, right? Also, the way he's running practice to where they're running and jogging to the next drill to drill, that it wasn't like that last year. It seemed like everything is changed up, right? But my brother over there told us nothing was going to change. It's the same old. But I noticed it's a common theme. You starting to complain about the things this year not being the same as they were last year. Because maybe it's a different philosophy.
Again, that's cool. All I'm saying is, and I've said they've changed, right? I can give them credit. All I'm presenting is I don't understand. And again, they're not showing no videos. They're not showing none.
No, they show one here and there. Like, you know, they're not showing a lot of videos. Like everyone, you know, they show a clip of all.
And I'm just questioning why, Tone. That's all I'm doing.
So, but I would question why if that interception didn't come out. You remember the interception by Chris Johnson didn't that come out? That was one of the only clips that came out. The interception by Juju Brent didn't that come out? Right? That was one of them.
By Kyle Lewis came out.
That Kyle Lewis came out, the pick six, right? Those came out. As well as, you know, the touchdown that Malik threw, you know, and the long pass that he threw down the sideline, that came out as well. That pass from Quinn Ewers deep to who that was, not Todd Washington, whatever the receiver, it'll come to me, right? Though his back, they're far and few in between, and it looks like they're keeping the same energy from mandatory mini camp to now. You know, I mean, voluntary mini camp to now, they're not releasing a bunch of videos like we're used to. They aren't. So it to me, I don't see. I won't say that they're hiding something. I wouldn't, right? At the end of the day, I would just say this is a difference from what we're used to. Some people even went as far as to say and point out the orange jersey when we didn't expect that to come back. That was the Mike McDaniels thing. But the volume of the radio, of the music, they even went to that. Be like, you know what I noticed? You know, Bo Kemper, right? He come out and said, I noticed that they're not blasting the music, you know, in training camp and practice like they was back when, you know, Mike McDaniel. It's at a level to where it's low, but it's more like background music, and you can hear the coaches coaching, as opposed to you just heard the music and it seemed like, you know, things. They point out all the little minor details that's different from the last regime. And all I'm saying is, instead of, I'm not going to assume anything. I'm just going to pay attention to how they move and see if they keep the same energy, right? Because I would have been like, hold on now. Y'all showing all the touchdowns and y'all showing all the good plays, but y'all not showing none of the negatives. Come on now. We could do better than that. But they are. So I just think, you know what I'm saying? We don't have to take them at their word, right? But Cam, what's his name? Cam Jordan? Or Cam Wolf? Cam Wolf, right? He was out there. You know what I'm saying? He was saying his assessment of the practice was along the same lines that, you know, Malik looked sharp out there. You know? And
right. And again, though, would you agree that they've showed more bad than good?
Yes, I will agree.
That's all I'm saying. So when I hear how these great practices are going, I'm thinking to myself, well, all the videos we're getting, the majority of the videos is bad. Well, at least from the offensive side. And then I know what you're saying about Bo Camper and all these other people like Cam Wolf, what they said today. But when I see this right here by Ghost, talking about Poupart and others are talking about Willis, bad footwork, consistent inaccuracy, and constant check down. What am I supposed to do with that as well?
See, I could debunk that right.
I can't.
I could debunk that right now.
And talk about all the good that they're talking about when they are saying bad stuff too.
No, but ask them when they said that. See, that's why I debunked that. That's at the beginning of training camp when they were showing all the bad. All that footwork and inaccuracy was early. That's not today. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about from when it was all. You know why you had more bad? Because according to them, he had more bad practices than he had good. These are, to my count, right? This is only 2, now maybe 3, because Jeff Hafley said Friday, which everyone did say that Friday was a better practice for Malik Willis. So of course, you're just starting to see the good because he had bad practices before. That's why you see more bad, which is why I'm saying it's not like they hide anything, because they would have been hiding all the bads when he was having negative practices, and they aren't. So it's the same thing. Now that they're having good, you're seeing good. You're seeing the highlights. You're hearing them speak on him in the highlight. Now you did say something about, well, I think it was Travis Drinkfield when you put it up, that he had to escape, right? Now that wasn't a case of he probably would have got sacked, because in that same one, he did mention on the one that he would have probably got sacked, he would put in parentheses, it could have been sacked. That was one where he was showing he used his leg to get out the pocket to invade the rush and make a pass downfield. You get what I'm saying? So these are the things that they're pointing out. And he also said in that, he said he's seen, that's the one thing that seemed to have been working with Malik consistently, is his ability to evade the rush and make completion downfield. So all I'm saying is the fact that they didn't have the bad and now they're bringing out with the good. I mean, now they're bringing the good out. I can't say, okay, when they was talking about bad, we have to address that and not make excuses for him, and then turn around when they're talking about the good part and what he's doing and say, well, you know what, we haven't seen it, or the videos aren't out. I'm not going to be that guy either, because I didn't see the videos of majority of those negative things that they were saying about him. I just took them at their word. Obviously, I'm gonna be out there, so we gonna know the truth. We are gonna know the truth, because we know how they talk. You know, I do get that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, I don't know. I'm just saying. First, I'm interested to see how you feel about. Do you think, about the past three? Let me say past two. Do you feel like they're keeping the same energy?
The media?
Yeah, however they've been moved with the releasing of what's been going on, and whoever that's been giving us information about what's going on in camp. Do it seem like they're pushing the agenda, or do it seem like they're keeping the same energy?
I feel like they're trying to be impartial as possible, but I will still say I do understand that they do answer in a sense to the Miami Dolphins organization in a sense. I'm going to say this. I'm going to err on the caution of, I'm going to actually believe that he's practiced better, right? And I think with the reps, simplifying things, getting the installs, and just having more opportunities to get these things done, and just repetition of it, right? We don't see the work, or we don't hear about necessarily the work that he does after, the media leaves, right? They could still be working on things. Could be getting in the film room. He could be doing, reps with them after, just so it can become more fluid and more cohesive as an offensive unit. Malik doesn't come off as someone who is satisfied with not playing up to potential
Mm-hmm.
that was him. And he spoke about that. He spoke about how this city is behind them and how they are hungry to win, and how he wants to bring that and how he wants to do that. So with that being said, I'm going to right now give it the benefit of the doubt that they are trying to be as impartial. I don't think that they're trying to hoodwink or swindle the fan base as much as they have had in the past. I don't think that this is a campaign where they're trying to sell a player or sell a quarterback as they have done in the past. I do believe that they're going to try to be as transparent as they possibly can be. Um, and I can only say that because they were calling it out when it was bad. So to your point, are they keeping the same energy? Yeah, I would like to think that they're keeping the same energy, calling it out when it's good, because there's nothing that's making them do that, right? If they're willing to stand on it and be like, well, these are the bad things that we saw, and then they can come back and say, well, these are the good things that we saw. As of right now, they are our eyes. But to Lewis's point, when the real eyes get in the building during training camp, maybe the most honest set of eyes, in this fan base, Tony's eyes, And we hear some of it in Spaces. Make sure you follow us because you will get updates in Spaces, but you'll also get them here. So as of right now, I'll give him a little benefit of the doubt. It doesn't hurt me to do that because at the end of the day, I want it to be to where I really feel like the things that I saw him do in the off season, where he is doing the extra practices, where he is having the extra workouts with the guys, and that they're working on these installs, that he still is going to keep that energy going into the mandatory part and the actual where they're allowed to be in the facility part. So yeah, I would expect it to have improved, even if it's over a couple of days, because you don't know how much work they're putting in. And even conversations. We don't know, like, what's the name? And to your point, right? What does Halfley preach? Fundamentals. Malik, you don't have to go out there and try to be, the flashy Superman. Like we've talked about how they were talking about how Quinn was doing no looks and stuff. Halfley ain't impressed with that. Can you do the fundamentals right? And I think that's what Malik is trying to drive home and trying to practice. And the more that he does that and does that the right way, we will see it pay off in the long run.
And I think and I seen Steve ask the question in there. I believe the fact that they went over the install, the first install, they were like, hey, let's go through that, let's not overload them, which he went through it a second time around, and then obviously guess what, you eventually you're going to do better because it's your second time going in there. Now you're more comfortable with what you're doing. You're more familiar with what's expected from you, and you understand you ran these type of plays before, and that helps out. And I think again that's a sign of a good coach, and that's a sign of developing players, right? Understanding that you don't just move past something. Oh, they were struggling, but on to the next one. And these are the type of things that I said I was going to be looking for, right? I mean, like, I want to know if they're doing something wrong, is he just going to keep going past it and overlooking it, or he's going to make them run it over and do it again? Because if you didn't get it right the first time, why are you moving on as if, okay, you just going to have to figure out a way to get that right, instead of saying, no, let's go back to this because they struggled in this. They didn't do well, so let's go back to the first install. Let's not overload them, and let's see how they go, because we still have training camp to go and everything, to get everything installed as well. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. So that's probably why he seemed to have better practices now in the second part of mini camp as opposed to when they had the voluntary mini camp. That could be a reason for that happening as well. You know what I'm saying?
So I wanted to ask you guys. So today Halfley talked about how he has sat in and talked with Bobby Slowick in the offense and talked about how he's a great person and all that stuff. Let's fast forward past all that fluff, right? And let's get into the important parts, the football part. He's been sitting in on install meetings with the offense, and not only has he been doing that, he's been asking Slowick to basically break it down for him, and he has in return give and take explained to Bobby how he would defend it. Lou, because I think Tony went first, what do you think about that dynamic with him, especially being on the defensive side, taking that time to actually go and be, I don't want to say tedious, but a part of what the offense is doing?
I absolutely love that approach from Jeff Halfley, sitting in again, just because he's a defensive minded guy or defensive head coach. I think it would only benefit the offense when he's sitting in there, he understands it, and then he's relaying to Bobby Slowick, hey, in this package or in this formation, this is what you would see from me at least. I would guard it this way. This is what I would do. Y'all remember Bill Belichick used to do that with Tom Brady. Tom Brady used to say that Belichick would usually sit with him and be like, hey, let's break down the offensive film. And Belichick would be like, well, this is what I would be in. And Brady would say, it would be easy to identify, well, if I see this, I would check and do that. And that's what Halfley's basically doing for Bobby Slowick. So I think it just benefits Bobby Slowick as the offensive play caller and the offense in general, especially if a guy like Halfley is not only sitting with Bobby Slowick, but in the meeting rooms in front of everybody. Hey, listen, This is what y'all are running. This is what I would run against that. What would y'all do if y'all had to make the check at the line or change the play? What would y'all do? I again, I think all that is just beneficial to the overall aspect of the entire team, but especially the offense. A defensive minded guy giving them the breakdown of how he would like defend what they were trying to do. I think that's only beneficial. I absolutely love that approach. I think that's the right approach to have. And if that is true, I'm with it. I think it's only beneficial for Bobby Slowick and the offense.
Yeah, especially the fact that when you have the perspective of the defense, right? Now, you brought up a great point with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, because what do that say? And when you get into depth in what we're looking at and what I would do towards you, it helps you understand. Okay, if I see you in this formation or you these type of plays, I'm going to check into this. But not only telling him what he's going to check into this, but the reason why, because I'm trying to force you to do this. And then also let them know, but this is what I don't want you to do once I do this, so they can understand what the weakness of. So when you see this, this is a defense that prevents you from getting whatever you're looking for on this, but this is what open up when we switch to this. And guess what that get? Now your quarterback, like, if he had checked to this, you could also ditch one receiver route instead of the whole play, right? So you give them the same exact look, but you alternate one receiver or one outlook, whatever it is, to get what they don't want you to get. And those type of insights are the things that help you develop as play callers. You right? That don't only help the coach, that help the players too. Because when he tell the coach, he say, okay, this is what you're looking for, okay? Now I'm gonna go to my defense, right? And this is what I'm gonna check into. And then I'm trying to prevent you from getting this. But if this is what we're vulnerable on this when we're doing this, helps them out. So guess what happened? In practice, they're gonna practice that now. Because when I see it, I'm like, okay, hey, defense, this is what I want you to do. Do. And then now when the offense see it, and let's just say he just let the offense run it out normally, and they get caught and they get in a bad play. It's a teaching moment. Okay, now when this happened, this is what happened. You seen what happened. You have on film actually what he was telling you. And you see what? This is open. So the next time they give us this look, they're trying to take that away because they understand what we're trying to do. So now we counter that. That's part of the end game adjustments. And it seems like they're working on it right now in training camp. Right? And that's the difference. Well, I ain't gonna say that's a difference, but that's a good sign, because what you don't want. What are one of the biggest things that this fan base have because we have a rookie coach? Oh, he learning on the fly. We got to go through all these growing pains already. Well, these are type of things and measures that you take so where you can fast forward that learning curve and say, okay, hey, listen, let me learn how to adjust in training camp. Right now, okay, he's taking this away. This is what I'm going to do. So when they do get to preseason and regular season game, they're used to adjusting already. They're used to the little wrinkles or whatever they want to add in, and it's not just 100% new. So I think that's a great approach, because I need to know what you're thinking as an offensive mind, and then I want you to know what I'm thinking as the offensive mind. And guess what? Now it become a chess game. Now, who can get in the favorable position for their unit first? Can you counter what I'm doing? There's only a finite amount of time. You know what I'm saying? Offense is up against the play clock. So how soon and quickly can you diagnose what the defense are doing and get your team into a favorable play call? That was Tom Brady's masterclass. That was his specialty. That was his superpower. What did he say? His criticism when he watched these quarterback players say, I'm looking at this play and said, why did you even run that play? Why do you need to call timeout? I knew that play was doomed from the beginning before you snapped the play. But you don't see that. If the coaches are doing that, hopefully they're teaching their players to do it, and then it translates to the field. And Hafley been a defensive coach, making it his business to go in, not only learn what the offensive coach is doing and get the playbook, but the players, building that relationship with the players. What one of the main thing, Achan, what did he come out and say? I ain't never seen that. A defensive coach, I'm used to defensive coach stick with the defense, offensive coach stick with offense. When it came to a head coach, but he said that's cool. Yeah, he over there talking trash with me, and he the defensive coach. That's a nut. All these small things, it helps out when you want to get this team to believe in your vision,
Mhm.
and you showing that you know what you're doing, and it is something different.
Mhm.
Like if you come in, just like, you come in the same old thing. That defense over there, hold on, wait, this is a little different. Maybe I could get behind this because being in this franchise and failing all the time, and someone come in and just like just regurgitating the same thing, same old, same old. It's the same thing, different coach. I think players or humans naturally be like, well, I don't know, I don't see nothing different. So the fact that he's taking any and every approach towards whatever could benefit the team and help the team, be successful. I like that approach, regardless. And you know what? That's keeping his offensive coordinator on his toes too.
Yes, that's what I was going to go with. He's assessing him.
Yeah.
He's really testing how much of this are you like able to break down to me. How well do you know what we're doing? Like, how are you? Let me make sure that I understand that you can really teach this to these players, because he's even sitting in on the QB meetings
Mm-hmm.
to your point and stuff like that. So I like that he's assessing even his coaches. No, everyone, everyone has eyes on them, and we talked about that, about how he's watching and he's not taking anything for granted. And I think having his presence and knowing that he can show up at any time, like, you gotta be on your piece of cues. Tone. Interesting enough, Zeke Biggers, one of the highlights of last year. He shed some weight, but they talked about him being a physical specimen, even after
Mm-hmm.
losing that weight, putting on more muscle, stuff like that. What was interesting is that he could be potentially lining up at the edge in certain packages. Do you think that is, well, it speaks to the versatility of it and the versatility of Halfley and the players, but do you think that would be beneficial for the Miami Dolphins to take
But
someone that's,
anytime
go ahead.
go ahead. No, finish.
No, go ahead, because
No, I was saying anytime that you have a guy that can be versatile, yeah, that's beneficial to your team. And a guy like that showed some promise, even at the seventh round draft pick. At one point he was playing as the best defensive line last year. Like he was the one. Remember, he came in and changed that run game and say, "Oh, hold on." Ever since we input Zeke Biggers in the lineup, that defensive run game started to improve immediately. He had immediate impact. We also have a lot of people in this fan base, especially the beat writers, right, coming out, more specific Omar, that have concern about, oh, there's no edge set. Like they running that edge setting to the ground. Well, I tell you what, Zeke Biggers, he's not gonna have a problem setting that edge. I'll tell you that, and he's anything that can help players get on the field, keep fresh bodies out there. I think that's beneficial to to the team. At any time you could get that's versatility out of any players, and then help you out with injuries. You know what I'm saying? It help you obviously stand in shape, and it gives you more options when it comes to these teams. Don't know if we're here to defend the run or the pass, because when Zeke Biggers is on the field, you don't know if they're gonna put him at edge or just have him at the D tackle. You understand? Or are they running? Are they just going three D tackles to stop the run like we did a lot last year? Or he's just versatile and he could get at the pass rusher as well. I mean the passer as well. Those type of things are always beneficial to the team. So yeah, I think so. And I like the fact that they're trying to put players in a position to where they can have the most success. I'm not okay. You're D tackle, but hey, how well can you do out here at edge? Can you help us out at edge? And are you better suited to be that type of player? And anyone and everyone should benefit for these type of things that's going on. And if it work out, fine. If it don't, hey, kudos to him as well. But I think this is an example of him trying to get the best players on the field and people that make plays and learning his players, right? This is the first year, so he have to learn them. How would I know if you're good at it if I don't put you out there and see what you can do? Now, let me put this caveat out there. There's no pads. There's no pads. So That's just, let's see how it happened when the pads get on, and then that now let's see if he's good enough to make plays when the full shoulder pads and helmets are on and it's full contact. Right now it's just, it's basically playing flag football. And there's certain things you could do with pads and so that you can't do with shirts and shorts. But as far as them, that part of beneficial to the team, yes, I think it's very beneficial to the team, to get the most out of every player on this roster.
Okay. Lou?
Yeah, I would say it's beneficial if he can do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way it's beneficial. Tone has made the point about when he's talked about versatility, right? You can say you're versatile, but if you're not good at whatever they're trying to do, you're not really versatile. They're just putting you out there. So again, I think I seen something where he was down to 313 pounds or something like that from 335 or something like that. Again, if he can do it, I ain't got no. I mean, to Tone's point, it just gives you more flexibility in every aspect. If you want to play him there, or if an injury or whatever, I don't know though, because again, Tone, if you remember the other episode when we were talking about you made the point you don't want to teach players or move players around certain spots.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that conversation, Tone?
Yes.
All I'm saying is with Zeke Biggers, and we, I mean, you even highlighted it, how well he was starting to perform from the D tackle position last
Mm-hmm.
season. I don't know if I want to take. That's the only thing for me. I would say I like seeing Zeke Biggers at the 335, right, and just man in the middle. But again, am I going to cry, kick, scream, or moan that they're trying to, like, I don't want to say convert him, but get him another position to play? No, I'm not. Again, it would be beneficial, but I don't know if it ultimately works out, because I heard you say he won't have a problem setting the edge. That could be, but let's say in an outside zone run, like with A-Chain, for example, he's not setting the edge on A-Chain. By the time Zeke Biggers tried to set the edge, A-Chain's already off to the races. You see what I'm saying? So I don't listen. People used to hate Jordan Phillips. I hated Jordan Phillips, right? Or Jaden Phillips.
Jaden Phillips.
He was a good edge setter though. That's what an edge setter is to me. Bradley Chubb, you don't have to like him, but he was a good edge setter. I don't know at 313 if Zeke Biggers is the right kind of edge setter. Not saying he can't do it, but I don't. I just like him more at D tackle. But again, I'm not going to shit on the coach for trying to convert him or get him to understand other positions. But for me, I don't look at Zeke Biggers as a DN though. I don't. I'm sorry.
Well,
but if it works out, it works out.
I would say not necessarily, because you don't have to be fast to set an edge. You just have to hold your spot, right? Now, if you're saying because of A-10 speed,
that's what I'm saying. Speed wise,
that's fine, but you're still already out there, and all you got to do is set the edge. Even if you force him to try to outbeat you to the sideline, you're still forcing him wider, which would allow, especially the type of linebackers that we have that are sideline to sideline, which would allow them to rally to the football, right? That's still setting the edge if he have to run around you. Setting the edge is not just necessarily you cannot get to the outside regardless. No, if you force him to take the longer route to get to the edge, that's the same thing. You're getting the same impact on that player because you're allowing your players to come make plays. And I think that's the possibility. Now, when it comes to it from the speaker, and as far as when you said about the rushing on the inside and the outside, see, that's the concept on defense is not the same as offense, right? Because that's why you see, like, let's say the Giants per se, when they had that NASCAR package, right? They will move the DNs in the middle and say, okay, y'all use y'all speed to get around those slow guards and centers, right? And then we let our D tackles use their power to overpower the tackles. Things like that. So it pass rush moves, right? It's not, you don't have to, it's not too much thinking on that. You get into the quarterback, you know what I'm saying? Especially on there, setting the edge is setting the edge. It's things like, it's more, that's why I was saying defense are always going to be on ahead, because it's more simple. It's not too much things that you have to figure out at the deep as the end. If I want you on the outside, on the inside, that's why you see a lot of people that can do that. Be like, look what they do to Myles Garrett. You get what I'm saying? They'll put Myles Garrett on the outside and make him rush on the inside here because it's just you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, okay, you got to learn a whole different position to run, rush the quarterback or, stop the run. It's basically most of that is all about lane integrity.
Mhm.
You can have on the outside or the inside. Um, so from learning, I wouldn't say two positions because D line is D line. I'm not more concerned about that, but I do think you have more of an argument when you say, Jalen Phillips was the edge setter because even if you have those speed running back, he had the speed to get him to the outside too. So if he
Mhm.
force him on the outside, he can disengage and still get to a guy like Achan, which is you don't have that with the Zeke Biggers,
With Zeke
right?
Biggers, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He gonna set the edge, but if that speed guy get on outside of him, it's all she wrote. You know what I'm saying? Your linebackers better be in
And then
position or it
and
might
then
be a
from
big
a
play.
pass rushing standpoint too, I'll ask y'all if Zeke Biggers is playing at your end, basically the end position, right? DN. Let's say in a 4-3 alignment, because I don't think he's not in a 3-4. Basically, it'll be a 4-3 in the end.
4-3 out.
And don't you think that's a telltale sign that we're just trying to stop the run? Because if I'm on the other, and again, I'm just telling you how my mind would work. If I'm an offensive coordinator and you throw Zeke Biggers on the outside, there's no pass rush coming from that side, in my opinion. You're not getting that three. I'm not worried about that 313 virtually D tackle that's now playing edge. You're virtually telling me he's in there to stop the run. You're getting nothing from a pass rushing standpoint with Zeke Biggers playing edge, right? Y'all would agree with that? Or do you think he, like at 313 pounds, he could literally be a pass rushing from that kind of standpoint, being a pass rusher,
Well,
right?
yeah, because I think he can be a pass rusher because if his bull rush will be what
From the edge
tack,
position?
yeah, like his bull rush, like his
Mm.
tackles won't be used to a 320-pound guy coming and bull rush you back because they usually used to the smaller guys that once you get your hand on them, say you could just drop your anchor. With a guy like Zeke Biggers, you can't just drop your anchor on Zeke Biggers because you know what I'm saying. He's 315 pounds, 320. He's gonna push you back and collapse the pocket. You get what I'm saying? Remember, that pocket is only so wide. Excuse me, right? The pocket is only so wide. So you have the opportunity to affect a quarterback when he see the pocket collapse. And that's all you really want. It's just that split second. He might not get there as fast of the speed guy like Chop Robinson or whatever. But once you get your hands on Chop Robinson, that the threat is done. With you have a guy like Zeke Biggers, that's constant pressure because he have the power to constantly push you back. Even if you do engage with him, he's constantly collapsing that pocket to where eventually, that quarterback has to move, right? And then that limits the opportunity to get help as well. So it's give or take. You understand? I'm not saying, do you prefer more of a guy like a Michael Parsons or something like that that's out there that has the speed and can generate from speed to power? Yes. But I won't say that it's when Zeke Big is out there, you're gonna be like, well, no, I don't have, I ain't even real about that side because I ain't gonna get no pass rusher. I think that'll be a mistake. You can just say he's not the typical edge rusher, and I don't have to speed up my clock. I'll say that possibly. But who knows? We never know. You have bigger guys that's nimble that can move. Which is I think that's what they saw in him and said like for his size, his athletic ability, his agility is pretty good for his size. So I think it could go both ways. But let's see how it pans out. But just to answer your question, I don't think I'm just going to be clearly saying, if he out there, they only stopping a run. I think that's probably what Hafley is trying to prevent. Be like, once he get in that, he shows he's capable of rushing the passer as well as stopping the run. Now we're not predictable anymore. You get what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that I think he's trying to establish as well. Remember at Green Bay, we saw this a lot. Simulated pressure. Go ahead, Vicinity.
Yeah, and sometimes it's about just giving that tackle a different look. Also, having to handle a defensive tackle, it might affect the stamina long term in the game. Um, but there's so many ways that we can figure out how it could be beneficial towards us, especially getting into fourth quarter, especially if you're talking about maybe like down and distance situation, right? There's so many ways that we can really break this down. Um, Now let's get into our last topic of today. Sorry, let me just pull this up. Boom, boom, boom. So the Miami Dolphins, had some money freed up, and the rookies were signed. 11 out of the 13 though. So currently, Caden Proctor, Chris Bell, sorry, Caleb Douglas, Kevin Coleman Jr., Campbell Kasmerick, Max, Max, Kyle Lewis, Jacob Rodriguez, Trey Moore, Michael Taft were all signed. Tony, let's speak about what this means. I guess cap wise, what do you how quickly do you think we will get the other two rookies signed? And then can we maybe follow it up with a potential pre-training camp signing that could come in? I know we've brought in some wide receivers, but could you see any other potential player coming in training camp, getting a trial, getting an opportunity on the defensive side of the ball or offense? Go ahead.
Oh, you said pre-training camp. They brought in Jalen Rager, so
Right.
so they
I'm
already
saying
signed
anyone
something.
else. I'm saying anyone else.
But as far as no, I'm saying they already started bringing people in.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to spend the money like that. Now before when we didn't sign Chris Johnson, they said if you're going off what that Dolphin guy said, Steve, they said they agreed on terms, but that no one has made it official. Right. So remember last time that same account came out and said something. It was the complete opposite. That was the same account that came out and said that the Dolphins was looking for a first rounder for A-Chain, and they signed him the very next day. So be careful. But as far as I see Chris Johnson and Caden Proctor weren't signed at the time of making this, so that was going to be a bigger concern. But the fact that Caden Proctor signed, I'm not worried about it. But I do remember, which is why it was on my mind when Lou was asking me, "Hey Tone, out of all the people, who do you think has, the more potential to possibly hold out?" And I was like, I would say Jacob Rodriguez, but I don't think he's like that, because of the second round draft pick. But I did say what's his name, Caleb Douglas, and probably Chris Johnson, just based on where they was drafted, if I had to give names. So I still don't think it's going to be a holdout or nothing like that. Chris Johnson, obviously, they could have agreed to terms with Chris Johnson. What I would say is, and the reason why I thought this was significant is because the patience and I think the trust that they already showing in the front office, because every time they happily get up there and conduct his interviews, they ask him all the time, who's all there, right? They always ask him that. Has everyone showed up, or are we missing anyone? And for the most part, it's always no. Everyone is here. We aren't missing anyone. And that's going through the whole process of them having to wait till post-June to get the money. And even the fact that, let's just say Caden Proctor before the day, he didn't sign his, and Chris Johnson as well. Now, Trey Ori, I don't know what you want, bro. That's Lou homeboy. I think Lou, like, bro, listen, bro. I don't know what he's on. What Lou called him? Police Academy or NFL Academy, bro. You go ahead and sign that contract. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully, there's no issue there. But the fact that they announced that all together, boom, which to me, right, shows me another thing about how this regime is moving. Like, hey, listen, we're not dropping it one at a time. Hey, listen, they all signed, boom, 10 out. We got 2 left over. Let's just get all this out of the way. Eliminate any possible distraction that's possible. Any of them. If somebody could possibly ask, who has signed, who hasn't signed, all of them signed, it's business as usual. We don't want off-field things or distractions to distract any player or anyone from the fact that we need to come in here, learn, because it's under new, defense and offenses, and we need to have as much focus on getting better and learning the playbooks and the plays as possible. And the fact that they're all on the same boat and on the same page, I think it's pretty cool. And I just think it's cool to see that I did assume that there weren't going to be any issues with these contracts. We know it's been an issue as of late, as starting last year with these second rounders and some of these players. A lot of the first rounders. Remember the guy from what's the guy from Cincinnati?
Shamar Stewart.
Jamar Stewart. Things of that nature. Him and whatever they were trying to put in the contract, the language and things of that nature. I just feel like it's a good sign that we don't have none of those things going on here. They're just conducting business as usual. I wanted to say something. I'm gonna say it after Lewis, but I wanted to just get into a fact that I'm noticing. I'm not gonna say I'm noticing, but so far so good that it seems like we're running this team how it's supposed to, and we're not getting this clown stuff, and it's always something, right? It was always something. It feel like, man, God, dog, it's good for content, but every time we turn around, we had something to talk about. That why we can't just do the simple things and just normal, like, right? Why even the simple things we had to create problems and things we couldn't get nothing right. Jonah, with the contract last year and things like that. Like, it was just always something. It just don't seem like so far that we're dealing with that now. It's the first year, but it is what it is. So for me, this was expected, and I'm glad that the fact that I expected it and it's happening to where it seemed like everything is just going along smoothly. I'm cool with it, and I'm happy for it. So no big deal. I just wanted to bring that up so we could point out everything that's been going on so far, in this fan base and in this franchise. It seemed like it's business as usual.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I like the fact that they've signed, and if the rumor is true that they signed Chris Johnson, that would mean that they only have one guy left, and that's the guy in the Police Academy. You know why you ain't got no contract? Because they realized they messed up picking you in the 5th round. That's why you ain't getting no damn contract. I don't want people. See, I'm not gonna lie to you people. It's not that they ain't offer him no contract or he don't want to sign it. They ain't offering him one. They got that man in the building and said, "What is this? Have you lost your mind?" Now, Tone just told you everything was going good. Yeah, until they selected Police Academy in the 5th round. That was terrible. So they've done an amazing job up till the 5th round. And we could go back. There was players on the board. The safety out of Penn State, Wheatley, was still on the board.
Wheatley,
I believe Kilgore was still on the board in the 5th round. And you selected
Taylor Green.
Taylor Green. Thank you, Tone. Was still on the board. So no. Make a long story short, I'm in line with Tone. It's good that, and to be honest, I haven't never seen to where the Dolphins did it here. Like, they signed almost everybody and they put it all at one time. Like, usually it was one, the next day you might get two days later you get another one. No, they did everything. So I like that standpoint. But this 5th round guy, bro, just cut him already. He ain't making the roster. So forget about this. Hey, Vicinity, listen, we can make those faces we want to. That man will listen. If Tony starts going back to the training camp, that man will be in the park. He'll be a parking lot attendant by the time training camp starts. Put him over there. Listen, make him look like a little. You know how in elementary school they put them people, they give them the little crossing guards. Make Traore a crossing guard. Put a whistle on him and a highlighted vest and tell him to go park car somewhere. What are we talking about?
You know what, Lou? Please stop. This is hilarious. Okay, speaking of parking lot guys and training camp, out of the guys who have signed, who do you think actually has a chance to make an impact when it comes to competing for a roster spot on the 53?
I think all of them.
Go ahead. Huh?
Oh, Lou, okay.
You talking to me, Vicinity?
I said Tone, let's go with you, but then I guess.
Oh, you said me. I thought you said Lou. All of them. I think all of them. I think all of them. Be honest with you, we have Taft. Safety. They're open air safety. I think Lonnie Johnson is going to win that job. But to compete, I think obviously to be both of the receivers, Chris Bell and Caleb Douglas, even though Caleb Douglas hasn't been looking good. But Kyle Lewis and Lewis Moore, both of those. Obviously, Jacob Rodriguez. That goes without saying. I think all of them, for the most part, have opportunity. Now we don't know what happened to Jamari Sawyer, right? He got injured, so now they go to rookie right there from out of Texas, right? He have an opportunity to make make the team in a roster spot. So if you're gonna be honest, I believe all of them have an opportunity. Now how much they're gonna contribute, that's more of the question. I think we don't know. But as far as making a roster, I think it'd be hard for majority of them not to make the roster, right? Because I know you can say, okay, the late round pick, they probably could go on a practice squad or things like that. I just don't see a lot of them going on a practice squad. Like, maybe the offensive lineman that I said, like I would have said Taft, but looking at the safety situation, I don't think they're gonna put him on the training camp. I mean the practice squad or whatever, things of that nature. You get me to try to start getting away a little bit of the 53-man roster, but he's trying to get me out there early. What's the Max Llewellyn? I don't think I think Max Llewellyn because of edge. We need edge. We're just talking about that. I think all of them. Be honest with you, outside of that tackle, I think Chris Johnson. Well, let's say Chris Bell, because he might start on the pup list. That's the only reason why I would say Chris Bell. Outside of that, yeah, I just think there's an opportunity. That's the biggest thing in all offseason that they've been speaking of is how there's opportunities and open roster spots available, and everyone is out there competing, for a spot. So yeah, if you ask me, I think it's all of them, every single last one of them, except for Chris Bell.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think Max Llewellyn, I'm not going to just regurgitate the same names. I think a lot of them do, especially if Halfley and Sully are going to be man of their word and say it's a true competition. I look at this roster, and outside of, in my opinion, QB1, Malik Willis, outside of that, Devon Achane as well. Outside of those two positions, I think it's free across the board. I think everybody can make this roster. So the Lewis Moores of the world, the safety out of Indiana, Max Llewellyn, because of the edge. I think a lot of those guys have the opportunity to make the roster. I would agree with Tom.
Hey, but if Trey Arby gets signed, you don't think he gonna be?
He gonna get signed to what? Man, the gonna get signed to. Man, if you don't send that man back, man, send that man back to Europe, man. Wasn't he playing in the European League or something?
No, he played for Mississippi State, my brother. What are we talking about?
Well, send him back.
Hey, man. My dog Traore, when he make the team, man, Lou gonna say, "Oh yeah, I don't think he'll make the 53-man roster at the tight end." I think what the tight ends has been more competitive. How about this, right, Lou? We thought the tight end, based on the offense, we thought receivers and tight end we had big questions, and it seemed like they're in the ones that are making all the plays, not the receivers. Well, even though we did have concern for the wide receivers, but outside of Greg Dulcich, I think we all we had questions about these tight ends, and they coming in like Sims that long touchdown that they was mentioned. I don't know, Luke say we ain't got the film yet, but that 40-yard touchdown that came from a tight end, Sims, the one that they brought over from Green Bay. We heard about my dog Cass Merrick, even though Lou don't want to mention the great catch on the sideline.
You heard what about him?
Cass Merrick, the great catch on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Greg Dulcich in the one-handed touchdown catch. Things of that nature. But I will say this, Lou, the only thing that they heard about Traore was a missed opportunity on the outside. So, you didn't hear nothing positive about him. So you might be right with that. The
first thing I heard about Traore was he didn't have no contract. That was the first thing I heard from him.
And he had a negative play too. So I'm just saying, hey, listen, you might be on to something right there. It might be on the rare occasions that you might be on the right path.
And that was a 5th round draft pick. Was that good?
Hey, listen, man. They not gonna hit on all draft picks, Lou. Now we said this, right? And I don't know. We still have to wait and see, but it's not. It's not looking good so far. I'll say that.
Let me ask y'all a question, just a quick little bonus question, right? Because we're talking about Insanity just asked what UDFA or lower tier guy do you see making the roster? What guys do you see, if any, that were drafted that could possibly not make this roster?
Well, you just mentioned Trey Arby, right?
Okay, well, listen, man. We all know that man. That man. Listen, June. By the end of training camp, that man will be at a local McDonald's somewhere. All right. That man will be saying, "Can I take your order, please?"
Stop.
That's what that man will be doing. That man will be flipping burgers somewhere.
Jesus Christ.
I'm saying. Well, I'll give you one since y'all don't.
Le'Veon Moss. How about that?
No, he's not there.
I know, so I said
I'll give you one. Caleb Douglas.
Please stop.
Oh my God, this man here.
Come
on.
Doing this,
so you mean to tell me that Caleb Douglas is head? He's just automatically going to make the team?
I think he's more likely to make the team. He's more likely to make the team than he isn't. I'll tell you that.
Okay, well, and I would agree with that. He is more likely being a top 100 player at pick 75, by the way, right? For the people that's still taking count. All I'm saying, though, is, 74, right?
74. He was 74.
Okay, 74. Even worse.
Out, yeah.
What I'm saying totally for Insanity is, right? If we go, and again, let's say his struggles continue. He's dropping balls in practice, right? And it continues all through mini camps and training camps, and then we get all of our eyes get to see him in the preseason, and he starts dropping balls in the preseason that are hitting him right in his hand. You mean to tell me just because he was a third round pick, he's automatically on the roster?
No.
I think him being a third round.
There's a possibility.
I think him being a third round pick is it's going to be very difficult for him not to make the roster. Right now, one guy that I think not bad, not having a bad training camp that that could depend on how they want to use him. Right, Kevin Coleman. Right, because I think his specialty is the return game, in which they thought they were going to use him. Now, if let's just say Malik Washington, how good he's the one wide receiver that they've been raving about all training camp from day one, from OTAs to voluntary minicamp to now mandatory minicamp. Malik Washington name as a wide receiver has been the one that's been consistent, and he's the one guy that Malik would have seemed to have chemistry with. And he maintained that return game. The thing about he might be a guy that they'd be like, well, we'll just hold him down and put him on the try to put him on the practice squad. However, the only reason I'm saying that is because what his specialty is, and we got Malik Washington that's did very well last year at that, and then also are improving his skills and upgraded, as a receiver and look like he's trying to take that number one spot. We loved him coming out of Virginia, right? So let's be honest. We love what he brought. He played like a dog and all these things, right? The only reason I'm not 100% and say I think he will be there is because I don't know if we know, but y'all know Taj Washington. He's been sidelined with an injury too. So that's a potential guy that's been here that could, they probably could put him on a practice squad because he was there last year too. So, but yeah, I think Coleman. Not saying that he's a bad player. It's just, with all of the receivers that we have and trying to work into a new offense, so to speak, they might, give the benefit of doubt to the older guys, and then the guys that's been drafted higher than him. He might be the odd man out, maybe. So that's the only one that I would say outside of just the one that you that you gave. So just if I had to give you one, I would say Kelvin Coleman.
Okay. Well,
Mm, mm.
listen. I'm excited to see what these contracts look like, even though we know that they're going to be based off of the collective bargaining agreement of before. I'm going to be very interested to see what this last mini camp has in store. We will be back Friday. Lou, it was great having you back. I think you did amazingly well. Tone, once again, phenomenal job. Thank you to everyone in the chat who voted on the poll. Really appreciate you. The
Subscribe,
results, huh?
subscribe. Make sure y'all
Oh,
subscribe, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all hit
so
that subscription.
we asked, do you have confidence in Malik Willis? It's not. It's
Yes,
not.
we know it's gonna be yes. Stop playing with Malik, man. You can go back and go check. I just I don't even. You know, is it yes or not? That's all I'm
It's
asking.
yes,
Uh,
but it's only
Okay.
like 57%.
it's
Hey,
probably gonna be
don't
a
worry
lot of
about.
It's
yeses because
57% yes, 43% no.
you
Hey,
know
we'll
the
So
take it.
minions be in the chat. You know the
Hey,
minions be,
say less.
they be taking over.
Say less. You was a million at one point. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? If you go by with what they were
When was
saying
that?
in the,
When
when
was that?
that's what they said in the space. I ain't said that. They said it. I ain't said it. You know what I'm saying? If you agree with me, apparently you become a million, whether you know it or not. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy.
Boy, millions
any
took
any
over this
final
poll. That's a
thoughts?
fact. Don't.
See you guys Friday. That's my what's the name? And Nay, go ahead and watch Hardball. You're on the clock.
Yeah, Nay, man. Don't listen, man. Shout out to G, but you know what? Listen, now I ain't gonna lie. Anything sports related, I don't know what Gateway 305 be talking about. But when it comes to the movies, he be on point. Shout out to G Baby, man. R.I.P. to G Baby, man. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't let me down yet in the movie references or the show references. I'll give Game Boy 305. That boy on point with those kind of things. My final thoughts, I would say, when you brought up the contract, I cannot wait to see how Jacob Rodriguez contract is constructed, right? Is it fully guaranteed? Like like last season. I do think that him big things might be coming for him, and his name hasn't been, ringing out in practice. Hold on. Before we get out here, I wanted to ask the question. Something just popped up to my head for both of y'all. What are your thoughts on the fact that Jeff Hafley are making basically damn near everyone on the defense wear the green dot from time to time? What do y'all think about it? Do y'all think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
For who?
What are your
Sorry.
thoughts on Jeff Hafley basically making everyone on the defense, well, linebackers, the linebackers and safeties, let me not say everyone because not the cornerbacks or the D linemen, but linebackers and safeties, all of them wearing the green dot and taking turns being the green dot guy. What do y'all think? Y'all think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
I think it's a good idea up until training camp. Once you get into training camp, you need to have concise on who's going to be doing it. But I think doing it now, I think it's a good idea. See who's comfortable in that role, who could take that leadership, who can get the plays in. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. Why not give everyone an opportunity? But I do believe by training camp, you do need to have a concise person on who's going to be doing that.
Lou?
And for me, Tone, I think it's a great idea because it holds people accountable that everybody needs to know that role, right? Like, so they're interchangeable. To basically almost what Insanity's point was. Now, I do agree. At some point, you're going to have to establish who's going to be your green dot. But I do like the fact that as of now, you're giving multiple people that because again, it just everybody has to know their job. It makes you understand the playbook more. It makes you understand getting everybody aligned and putting people where they need to be. So from that standpoint, I think it's a great idea.
But you know what it also tells me? It tells me that Jordan Brooks isn't taking it. Like, not that he's not taking it, but I feel like that would have been a great opportunity for him to just go to coach and be like, I want to do this. Now, granted, he hasn't done it in the past, so I wouldn't see why he would want to do it now. But with his leadership qualities, I would have loved to have seen Jordan Brooks just take on that role and be like, Coach, I'm going to step up. I'm going to be the one with that. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens.
Well, so first of all, Bonjo, I didn't hate it. Hitman Holler hated it when Lock put the door. G baby, G baby. No, Hitman Hardy didn't like that line. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was a Don DeMarco. That was, oh my God, that was
Yeah.
fire. But listen, I disagree with both of y'all.
Of course you do.
No, I need them to carry this all the way through training camp, preseason, and everything. Because Lou, now you said something key. Everyone has to be ready, just in case they have to do. You never know, right? So I'm not stopping in training camp because they all have it at the same time. It's not like it's one at a time. They're all listening to it at one time. And then now, for I really disagree because what he said, what came out to this is that Jordan Brooks is showing that he can do it. Now he preferred not to, but you know, Jeff Hafley was like, see, we made him do something that he was uncomfortable with, and he just proved to us that yes, you can do this, right? And if we need you to you to be able to do this, you know what I'm saying, you already proven to yourself that you can do this. You know what I'm saying? So no, and I said this before. Yes, I think it was last episode. I was like, no, I'm so glad they forced him to do that because you on a contract, you're supposed to be a leader. What leader is not taking the green dot? You know what I'm saying? And not showing the capability of not doing it. Now, up until that point, they only had the linebackers. And then, you know, right up there, you know, he was like, hold on, I don't have the safety. I only had one safety, you know, because Kyle Lewis. But he was like, you know what? He looked at it and he said, we need to add the safeties in here too, because he said he did it in Green Bay. He had the safeties doing it. He had the linebackers doing it. So whenever he needed, you never know who get injured. You know what I'm saying? I might need you to do something else. I want you to focus on this. Hey, safety, whoever's back there, whether it's Dante Trader Jr., Michael Taft, whoever, right? You know, Lonnie Johnson. I need y'all to be the green dot today and let my linebackers roam freely and Tyrell Dodson and also Vicinity. This is keeping everyone on their toes. Hey, Tyrell Dawson, guess what? One of your major advantages that you had was, hey, listen, I think I got advantage because I'm the green dot. You know, only possibly Jacob Rodriguez, but not now, right? Everyone is green dot, right? So that's another thing. You say, no, you still have to continue to earn and prove that you deserve a roster spot because I have contingency plans already in place. You know, if you don't make this team, which I doubt if you don't, but Jacob Rodriguez now to be the green dot. Kyle Lewis now to be the green dot. Lewis Moore now to be the green dot. Jordan Brooks know how to be the green dot. Both of our safeties, all of our safeties know how to be the green dot so that the production doesn't fall off. These are type of things that I like to see that, you know, he's already preparing them. If someone's injured, we're not, oh shucks, now this week, let's get whoever prepared as much as we can in a limited time available to us because you only have what, 4 practices that you could do before the game time comes. Now everyone is already prepared, and it's like, okay, we prepared for this already. You just step into that role, you're used to it. So yeah, I think they should continue this all the way through. You know what I'm saying? No stop, because I want them to be 100% comfortable, not just, because you one person, I need you to narrow it down. Well, what if you need the people that you had only for that small time to actually do it? They're not used to it because they haven't did it since early in minicamp. Now you're trying to get them, you know, to do something that they haven't did. No, I need you to be used to this all the way up to game time, you know, so it could be fresh on all of their minds. I think that's something that they should never stop doing. That's just my personal opinion.
Do you think that's something like, because I mean, typically you don't see, you know, the starters play all the preseason games. So do you think that's something that they could, like, how can I put it? How do they work on that in preseason, like in a preseason game? Is that something that you can just like ring around? I don't want to say like, but like hop around and just see how they do it like in a real game situation?
Well, you have to, because you just answered why they should keep this all the way going, because in preseason, yes, all the people that you have the preseason to be like, well, my starters are not, especially that last game, my starters are not going to be playing. So, you know, instead of putting the guy that's not used to doing it in a disadvantage, he's already used to doing it. Okay, let's see in training camp. You know, I mean, in preseason, the starters usually play what, one or two drives.
Yeah.
And then now you see in second and third team, guess what? Those guys that's on the second and third team, the one that are in green dot, are not at a disadvantage because you've been doing this all training camp, just like the starter. So when you in green dot in the preseason, I don't put you at a disadvantage because you're not used to being a green dot. You get what I'm saying? You're prepared for everything. So I have a full and how you say, full and fair assessment and evaluation on you, because I'm not putting you in a unfavorable position by putting you. I haven't been a green dot. Now you won't want me to do this. This is another thing to think about. No, they're already used to it, and continue all the way through the preseason. And I think that served them well to be more prepared. You know, it's not throwing an extra thing on their plate.
Okay.
Hey man, good show, man. But that was my last thoughts. I just, all of those things was coming in. Appreciate it. Hey Lou, welcome back, my good brother. Welcome back.
I appreciate it.
You already know you missed it. Don't worry about it, man. I'm gonna save a lot of arguments for over here. Sometimes I can't help myself. For him talking, I'll be like, go argue with him.
Man.
Sometimes I don't feel right if I ain't arguing with him up there. You know what I'm saying? He said it. He said it earlier. He was like, man, when Tone came up there, we was boom. You know what I'm saying? Me and Nene got into a beam, and then you go to the end. A lot of people, hey man, you know what, Lou? I gotta say we all good when we debate. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of it, I did see a couple of those comments saying, "Oh, echo chamber, this is and that." But then when it switched, and then Vondre was on Nene's side, and I was on the opposing side with them when it came to the basketball. I wonder if they had those same thoughts and you know what I'm saying? Once it switched, and then now we're always on opposite sides, and I was fighting against them too. But listen, appreciate y'all. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Make sure y'all subscribe on the channel, man. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe. I mean, subscribe. And don't hit the like button on the way out. But
favorite part of the show
before we get up on it? Yeah, great show.
Yeah. Listen, everybody knows this has been the Wednesday episode of the Blitz Pickup. Again, special shout out to Tone and Finsanity holding this thing down. In my absence, I will be back, here and there. Hopefully back for sure, though. The next time y'all see us is for the Friday episode. For myself, for my brother Tone, for Finsanity, you know what it is. We'll see y'all Friday. No revolver, no bang tonight. A special message for, now again, this is according to, Steve and others. We signed 12 out of our 13 draft picks. So a special message for Police Academy. And we'll leave y'all with this. We'll see y'all Friday.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care.
This man is so.
We don't care if you get signed, dog. Go become a hall monitor. Do something. Hey, we love y'all. Peace out, man. We out.